8,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in May. That's not what you wanted to see.
One of the major promises that Trump made to the American public was that he was going to bring back jobs to America.
Foreign nations will be worried about losing their jobs to America. Going to bring them back.
But it looks like the only thing he's making great is the unemployment line, as thousands of jobs in manufacturing were lost in May. That's according to a new release from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is a shocking number considering that Trump has made it his whole thing to bring back specifically manufacturing jobs. This poor performance isn't going unnoticed by even Fox News, who had Stuart Varney here absolutely grill Trump's Secretary of Labor. And the reason for these job losses isn't a big mystery. It's Trump's very own policies that are driving companies to close up factories here in the US and break ground on new factories in other countries. One industry, specifically the automakers, one of the crown jewels of the US economy, is getting squeezed the hardest. And it's just perfect timing considering Trump's divorce with automaker boyfriend Elon. That story is taking up most of the news cycle, so if you like this kind of coverage, the stuff that you won't see anywhere else, then you can join us here at Really American by subscribing. We're the only group that's growing faster than the list of Elon's exes. Okay, so let's take a deeper look at the data. To understand this story, we have to get a little bit of context. So this column here shows May of 2024, a year ago, and these three columns show the last 3 months, March, April, and May of 2025. The overall jobs gained for May is on track for what's expected, maybe even a little bit higher than predicted, but it's interesting to see where the jobs are being lost and where they're being gained. Last month, I know this is a little bit hard to see, but we lost 1,000 jobs in mining and logging and 8,000 jobs in manufacturing. What we lost there, we gained back again in financial activities, where we saw 13,000 jobs gained in May, whereas the previous month before that, we only saw 3,000 jobs being gained. So these are jobs like insurance and accounting, pretty much the exact opposite of what you want to see if your whole goal is to bring back manufacturing jobs. Another thing that I wanted to point out really quickly are these two lines right here, wholesale trade and retail trade. You can see that over the last 3 months, we are witnessing a stunning reversal in trend. Last year in May, we saw 5,000 jobs lost in wholesale and 12,000 jobs gained in retail. In March of this year, we see a similar trend, nearly 5,000 jobs lost in wholesale and 16,000 jobs gained in retail. But over the next 2 months, we see a significant reversal. In April, there were 4,000 jobs gained in wholesale and nearly 3,000 jobs lost in retail. In May of last month, we saw 2.5 thousand gained in wholesale and 6.5 thousand lost in retail. So what does that mean? Well, most small businesses in merchandising are going to be retailers, as wholesale infrastructure is just too costly to start up easily. Most wholesale businesses have taken advantage of Trump's indecision, on-again, off-again style, front-loading inventory in order to weather the storm of these tariffs. But countless retail businesses who already have very thin margins are being squeezed by Trump's tariffs and are no longer able to afford to keep their smaller businesses running and are starting to shutter their doors at an alarming rate. These numbers reflect the lived experience that we're seeing all around us and that we've been reporting on here at Really American. Companies like Walmart and Costco are thriving. They're reporting a better than expected quarter and that tariffs are unlikely to have the sort of adverse effects that is being suggested. And that's because those adverse effects are being felt by others. Small businesses are being decimated by these tariffs. We've reported about small businesses in printing, soap making, various companies who are all having to fire people or shutter their doors. And as a result of that, we're just seeing a hyper consolidation of capital into the hands of wealthy conglomerates, while folks trying to make a better life for themselves by starting a business are just getting swallowed up. While top-line job numbers appeared to be fine, economists said a deeper look at the numbers paint a more concerning picture. Hell, not just economists, me too. As the past 2 months' jobs numbers were revised downward, the labor force participation saw a steep decline, and certain industries actually lost jobs in May. Below the surface, there's a lot more to be worried about, University of Michigan economics professor Justin Wolfers wrote on X. April was revised down 30,000. March was revised down 95,000. As a result, payrolls grew at an average rate of 135,000 over the past 3 months, a notable slowing. And in a sign that the housing market is weakening, just something to pile on top, the residential contracting industry lost 11,000 jobs, while building materials and gardening equipment and supplies dealers lost 2.6 thousand jobs. This is a tough job market for job seekers, especially recent grads. Companies are going to keep their hiring freezes until the trade war gets resolved. Heather Long, the chief economist for the Navy Federal Credit Union, wrote on Twitter, "The numbers are clearly not in Trump's favor, although MAGA is trying to hide behind the fact that the overall jobs number isn't abominable. But those with eyes to see the truth can look at those 8,000 jobs lost in manufacturing, look at Trump saying that he's bringing back jobs in manufacturing, and point out that 2 and 2 ain't making 4.
Now, 8,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in May. That's not what you wanted to see.
Well, we're certainly holding steady, and under the Trump administration, manufacturing jobs are still up over what the last administration under Biden had. The focus of my America at Work tour is to increase those manufacturing jobs, and we'll continue to stay laser focused on that as the president continues to double down on how important this is to the American economy.
But how come we're losing 8,000 manufacturing jobs in May, and when there's a big push to bring manufacturing jobs back to America? How come we're losing those jobs?
Well, we're certainly holding steady, and as we increase construction jobs, as we increase healthcare jobs, and again, that focus on building those manufacturing plants, it will take some time. The president has done a wonderful job in negotiating the level playing field. As far as the tariff discussions have gone, but those onshoring of those jobs, we're seeing tens of trillions of dollars being reinvested here in the United States. And I'll continue to focus on that skilled workforce as those manufacturing jobs continue to grow.
I love how her brain just malfunctions at even the slightest bit of pushback here. And so she regurgitates her practiced answer of, well, the numbers are certainly holding steady. So where are these manufacturing jobs going? I mean, we talked about retail and trade, but how come we're not making more stuff here? Well, the argument from conservatives would be that Trump is putting restrictions on imports via tariff taxes, incentivizing companies to build here in the United States. But that ignores the fact that there's equal pressure coming from countries like China in the form of their own retaliatory tariffs. So with all things being reciprocal as far as tariffs go, the material factors that go into manufacturing have a larger impact on the decision of where to build a factory. One thing that Trump seems to have forgotten, or maybe is unaware of, is that China has a chokehold on rare earth magnets. Here is the headline from Wall Street Journal. Automakers race to find workaround to China's stranglehold on rare earth magnets. Major manufacturers, fearful that they have to shut down assembly lines, consider moving some parts production to China. 4 major automakers are racing to find workarounds to China's stranglehold on rare earth metals. Ideas under review include producing electric motors in Chinese factories or shipping made-in-America motors to China to have magnets installed. Moving production to China as a way to get around export controls on rare earth magnets could work because the restrictions only cover magnets, not finished parts. So basically, China has said that, well, we control 90% of all of the rare earth magnet production in the world, and we're putting limitations on those rare earth magnets leaving China. Now that is a way bigger restriction than any kind of tariff that Trump can put on. If automakers end up shifting some production to China, it would amount to a remarkable outcome from a trade war initiated by President Trump with the intention of bringing manufacturing back to the United States. And look here, it seems like it's already starting to happen. In the US, Ford Motors shut down production of the Ford Explorer at its Chicago plant for a week in May because of a rare earth shortage, a spokesperson said. Okay, so he's making it harder for retailers to stay in business by squeezing their margins, and he's making it harder for manufacturers to build in America by squeezing their margins. And then, on top of all of that, Trump is fighting to cancel the Jobs Corps, a program that works to take underprivileged, sometimes homeless individuals from the age age of 16 to 24 and train them with skills in welding and plumbing and carpentry and mechanics. Some even become nurses and doctors. It's a program that works to train nearly 20,000 people a year for long-term gainful employment that has obvious net benefits to the country. We're talking about people who didn't go to college and aren't currently working. And now nearly 200 members of the House from both parties have sent a letter to Donald Trump asking him to stop this destruction. So where does that leave us? Well, just sort of where we were before, right? In limbo, waiting for Donald Trump to either push the red button or not. Either way, the damage has mostly already been done when it comes to reversing the positive employment trends that we were on post-pandemic, and now we're on these new, much worse trends. And if these new trends continue, coupled with the fact that the US economy experienced negative net growth in the first quarter of 2025, the first time since we started our recovery from COVID, well, then it looks like we're about 3 months away from officially being in a recession, because the circumstances that created these conditions, Donald Trump, well, he doesn't seem to be changing course anytime soon, especially now that he's in breakup mode. Chances are he's going to become even more volatile from here on out. Buckle up, folks. We're in for a bumpy ride. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.